There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go, Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go.
What is going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and we are live for your taped Raw Recap Monday, August 31st, 2026, the last day of August. Oh, man, I don't know what to say. I truly don't. I mean, I don't think Raw was terrible, but I'm worried. We have a prediction show in 2 days. We have 4 matches for Sunday Night main event. A little worrisome there. I'm just retweeting them live. Hope you guys had a good Monday. Everybody. Got 8 people in here. Check everyone. Not sure it twice. Oopsie. Alright, so we have 9 people. Give it a couple more minutes to get some people in here. I mean, I don't know what you guys thought. I thought it was okay. I thought the wrestling matches that took place were great. I can definitely see where they're going with the storyline with Royce and OTM now. I've mentioned in my chats, it's just really funny that Jacob hasn't been attacked. I still feel like he's definitely, in my opinion, I don't think Royce Keys is running this. So I also think it's crazy to say, but I think Seth Rollins is going to ultimately be the one, which I'll talk about it on the next show, Scoops. What's going on, Kingpin? We had our first fantasy football draft last night. I was prepared, but about 15 minutes after the stream, I don't know. I could have done better. I think I got like a B plus or a C or something like that. So got some rookies and a couple of people coming off injury. So we'll see. You never know in fantasy. You never know who's gonna get hurt. Zay Flowers went out today, so you just never know. That's why I don't like to draft way too early. But yeah, still got a lot of league left to draft. Some coming. I got one Thursday. I got a bunch coming up this weekend, I think. And then we got the Eliminator League, which is for me the one I'm looking forward to the most because the lowest team eliminated, and it's not like a regular waiver wire. You have to use your FAAB money. I have the wide receiver today. Who's that? Bateman? Yeah, I queued up Tate from the Titans. I didn't really mean to. And then I hit the button. Lane. Yeah, I wasn't gonna drive Tate. The Titans are terrible. I mean, they're gonna be behind a lot, so I don't know. See if the QB can do better this year. I know he's pretty good in college, but let's see. Just a lot of injuries. I know even with the ninth pick, C-Mac was still on the board. I passed C-Mac and a couple of other running backs to get Saquon. So I normally don't ever draft Saquon. So hopefully it works out. That offense is a little scary because Hurts like to run the ball a lot in the red zone. So Saquon had an okay year, but I also picked up Tank in case Saquon starts. I think Tank is a standout if Saquon starts struggling. You have 4 more shots at winning the AVP. This is the out here. I mean, I ain't lost shit. I mean, season hasn't started, and plus I make a lot of trades, so just gotta start off winning a couple of weeks. You never know. Jaden Daniels and Mahomes, if they can have good season, Justin Jefferson, I might be okay. Little thin at running back, but I don't know. I should have bet baseball today. Looks like fucking home runs are flying everywhere. I haven't even looked at that in like 3 weeks, but that's crazy. So yeah, we are gonna continue on with the prediction show Wednesday. I can't promise you guys it's gonna be super long. It's only 4 matches on the card for Sunday night's main event. You got Cody and Randy, Brian Breaker and Oba, Little Yachty versus Baron Corbin. He has to last longer than 5 minutes in order to be able to give Trick Williams the U.S. title match. Charlotte Tatum and Alexa against Jade, B-Fab, and Michin, Mia Yim, whichever way you want to prefer. So, I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, I've seen the SmackDown spoilers. So, I don't know. I think that's it. I think we're getting 4 matches. So, I don't know. A little worried about that card. I was thinking they might add 1 more, but we won't know because the prediction show is going to be before SmackDown. So if Blake and Julia gets added, we're not going to know to predict it. So Bateman is in trouble for domestic stuff. That's crazy. So a couple more announcements before we get started. This Sunday is going to be the Sunday night main event recap. Then we'll pick back up with Sunday night scoop on September 13th, which is my birthday. We did get to 17 likes on the last scoop show, so 2 people will win a 1-month pass in this exclusive news channel. I think a couple of people that have won a free month, I think they're getting pretty close to their month, so maybe they win. We'll see. Maybe they win another free month. Everybody's eligible to win, so that will be coming up. So the way I'm going to do it is my birthday, so obviously I'm not monetized, so I can't get super chats or anything like that. But just going to open it up to all my friends. I made a lot of friends in the community, over 325 subscribers, so anybody's welcome to join. I'll probably give out some news. Just going to be a little bit different format since it's my birthday. I'll give out some news. Obviously, Money in the Bank is getting close. Got some qualifiers starting next week on Raw. And then we'll give away those memberships. I'll answer some questions, and then we'll just kind of shoot the shit. It's my birthday, so it's not all going to be business. We're going to have a little bit of fun on here. So if you want to show up, I'll be done with all my trials by then, so it really won't matter how long. So the last announcement, so I've been thinking about it today. I put out a poll on YouTube as well as a poll on Twitter for what show I wanted to do next. And so Big Brother's going to end on October 21st. So I decided to go with Survivor. Amazing race. I like it. I would prefer I went with Traders. But Survivor kind of got the same similar fan base as Big Brother. So this is how I'm gonna have to do it. Survivor is gonna start on September the 23rd, which is a Wednesday. So it'd be a little bit over a week before Big Brother ends. So I probably will have to do a after me and Kyle show on Wednesday, the 23rd. I'll have to do the week 1 recap of Survivor, where I kind of introduce the cast. Anything that happens on the first episode, it's a 2-hour episode. So if I don't do it that way, then if I do it Thursday, then it would be Survivor and Big Brother, and we may be on here for 4 hours. So I really typically don't want to do that. Because there's really not another day in the week that I could possibly do it, because my Tuesdays are about to be doubled up. But moving forward after Big Brother ends, so Survivor will only air once a week on Wednesdays. So once Big Brother ends, I will move, after the week 1 recap, I will move Survivor to, after Big Brother ends, I'll move Survivor to Thursdays. Because I'll have the open time slot, or the open day to cover Survivor. After Big Brother finale is October the 1st, I believe. I'm gonna cover Big Brother. Obviously, one of my favorites are in trouble this week. Possibly, more than likely, could be going home or to jury. I think they are at the jury phase now. I'm still gonna cover it. I also want to shout out to you guys. Obviously the numbers are not looking great right now for Raw, but going back to Big Brother, the last episode, you guys killed it on YouTube, on DWE TV, on X, and also on my X page. Over 130, I don't know the exact number, I'd have to look. Over 130 plus views on YouTube. First time a Big Brother show got over 100 views on YouTube. So thank you guys for that. That is the one show that gets the most views on my Twitter. I believe we got about 150 or so on my Twitter, and then close to 200 on DWTV. So that's give or take about 500 views for Big Brother. And then we had a SmackDown taping this past Friday, which I know for a fact it eclipsed 150 views on YouTube, close to 200 on DWTV, and then probably 75, 80 on my X page. So that's another 400 views. And then last night for this NXT Heatwave recap show, I believe I got about 40 or 50 on my X page. Typical numbers on DWTV, somewhere between 150 and 180 to 200. And then I got, last time I looked, I had like 115 on YouTube. So the last 3 streams, you guys have killed it on YouTube and X, over 100 views. I don't think we'll get there tonight. We only have 30 people on the stream, but it's a taped show. But it was a taped show Friday, so I kind of thought tonight would be a little bit more, but maybe people just wasn't really feeling tonight. I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot going on. I did go live early. I was supposed to go live at 11, but I went ahead and started it early. Let me make sure that everybody does know that I am live. Either way, whatever it takes, we're gonna get it done. I'm a little disappointed in WWE support the fact that they have not put more than 4 matches. I'm really disappointed in that. That's terrible. 4 matches for Sunday night's main event, and one of them has got a little yachty in it. So yeah, that's terrible. That is terrible. Terrible. I'm just checking to make sure that we are. Yeah, so I'll talk about it more on Scoops, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting some sort of 3, I don't know, maybe 3 teams. I don't know how they do it. With that, I haven't gotten all the info on that. I do know Seth's going to be involved in some way, form, or fashion. Maybe they put Seth with Roman and the Usos. I think it's probably going to be Jacob. I think they're called 946 or 964. Royce, OTM, and Lucian and Bronco Nima. Should be a tag match at it for Sunday night's main event. I don't think so. I don't think it will be. I think if we get anything, it's gonna be Blake Julia, Kingpin. Last I was told, that was definitely a match that was being discussed, but we won't know before Wednesday. So we're just gonna have to go with what we got. Unfortunately, the next prediction show won't be till Money in the Bank. I wasn't gonna do one, but I think I am, because I'm gonna be leaving like a day or two, maybe. I'm gonna be leaving like 2 days before Money in the Bank. So Money in the Bank week, you guys I won't be on stream, but for like the first part of the week, we probably still will do a prediction show. I'll probably do like a recap show from the hotel, or something like that. But I will be going, so you guys look for me at the ring side. I have a sign if they let me bring it in, which I'm sure they will. We will do a prediction show because Money in the Bank is gonna be pretty big. I feel like. But then the next NXT show is gonna be Halloween Havoc and Halloween night. So I'm looking forward to that. I thought it already was. You thought what was Kingpin? Blake and Julia? It hasn't been made official. They went to the matches tonight. It's only 4 matches. It was being discussed, but they haven't made it official yet. And I didn't see it made official in the spoilers. I can look really fast before we get started and see if they did make that match official. I don't think they did. I hope they did. I'd like to have another match. A lot of people are complaining about the censoring on Netflix. Them bleeping out the B word. They bleeped out MFers, which I can see them doing that. But I'm looking at the spoiler chat. Hold on a second, guys. Let me look at the SmackDown real quick. So Blake and Julie are supposed to happen Friday, but they don't happen Friday. Yeah. It doesn't show that match is made official, not in the spoilers. It looks like it's another attack. But Julia, I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing. All right, I'm just pulling up the notes really quick. All right, we got 47 people in here. Yeah, you're pissed about Julian though. Oh, they're airing out. Just don't air it on Netflix and censor. Yeah, that was terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think the show was that great. I think the matches were okay. Penta and Phoenix was phenomenal, but that was expected. Dragon Lee and Ethan Page was good. Raquel and Soul was okay. It wasn't great. I don't know what they're doing with that, but something's cooking up with Liv and Roxanne. You can tell. That's why I know I really feel that they're going to go ahead and pull the trigger and have Roxanne win Money in the Bank. I've been saying it for months. So hopefully they stick to the plan. But let's go ahead and get into the Raw recap. We have about 48 people. So we have about 48 people watching live, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, this is a tape show, so the spoilers have been out. So what they did is they taped after Raw last week. They taped SmackDown, and then they went to Cleveland and they taped Raw tonight and SmackDown this Friday. So they did with that. So tonight is live, or not live, but it's taped. We're gonna see the finals of the tournament to decide who faces Roman Reigns in Mexico on September 14th. The brothers are going to be Kalash and Penta versus Ray Phoenix in the championship, and the tournament finals to see who's going to face Roman Reigns. So that's the main event tonight. So WWE Monday Night Raw is taped tonight, August 31st, 2026, from the Rocket Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. And this is the Raw go-home show before Sunday night's main event. As I said, there's only 4 matches on the card. Advertised for tonight, Penta versus Ray Phoenix in the finals of the tournament to decide who's going to face Roman Reigns in Mexico City. Roman will be there as well. Plus, we're going to have a Women's Intercontinental Championship match with Raquel Rodriguez defending the title against the former champion, Sol Ruca. So that match kicked off. Well, it didn't kick off, probably the first match on Raw. So the show opened up. So you saw a SUV, and like I said, this was something that a lot of people online and the IWC was not really happy about. Royce Keys and OTM. So you seen the Usos pull up first, and then Royce Keys and OTM rolled up in the loading dock, and Royce Keys took some kind of weapon and hit the back of the car, and then they just started beating the living crap out of Jimmy Uso. They attacked him. They smashed Jay Uso into the door, slamming Jimmy Uso into the back window of the car. So like they basically like grabbed Jay by his neck and like just kind of pulled him out of the window, started beating him down, and that's where I was talking about that the people were complaining because Jay was busted, his head was busted open, but Netflix censored the headshot with the blood and stuff like that. Jacob Fatu, as I mentioned a couple of times in the chat tonight and in the Discord twice, that he was not even attacked. So I still think ultimately when it comes down to it, like he's probably gonna be the leader. I can't see this group being ran by Royce Keys. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But Jacob Fatu does show up. But he's a little bit too late. He's got a pipe in his hand, and Royce Keys and OTM make their escape. So that's how we kicked off Raw. No Michael Cole on commentary. It's Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore. They go straight to Wade and Joe. The commentary apologizes for the chaos. And then we go back to the loading dock. And like I said, Jey Uso's head is blurred out for blood as General Manager Adam Pearce and the medics check on him. So, as I said, this story is going to go all the way to the fall and ultimately it's going to culminate into a war game. Whether it's 4 versus 4, 5 versus 5. I think we could see Zilla involved in this. It's maybe. I don't know. It just depends on if they're going to do 2 big teams of 5 or 3 teams of 4 or 3 teams of 3. We'll see how they're going to do it. It's a little far out. But the Usos were attacked by Royce Keys and OTM, who made their presence known last week by attacking Jay, Jimmy, Solo Sikoa, and LA Knight. And again, last week, Jacob Fatu was not attacked. So Jacob Fatu is the only one out of the whole bloodline besides Roman that has not been attacked by, I believe it's 964 or 946, one of those two, which is Royce Keys and OTM. So it's just a little odd that Jacob has just remained unscathed from the attack, basically. So after all this melee, Soruka makes her way out for the opening match of the night. She is going to be going after the Intercontinental Championship. She's going to be facing her opponent, which is the Women's WWE Intercontinental Champion, member of the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, coming to the ring by the WWE Women's Champion, Liv Morgan, and also Roxanne Perez. But before the match even gets going, Jacob Fatu comes to ringside and gets on the announce desk. He cuts a promo. He starts talking about Royce Keys and OTM, saying, "You want to attack my family? It's not going to go down like this." He called him about, he called them some MFers, which I can't say that on the stream. They ended up cutting his microphone off. I do know that. But I could read his lips, and he said, "Y'all don't realize that I'm all gas and it breaks." Jacob Fatu. So he's sending a message to Royce Keys and OTM, but is he really? We'll see. He said he was going to dog walk all of them. So obviously later on, Roman does talk to Jacob about Royce, and he does tell Jacob that he needs to be the one to handle Royce. So I think this is all going to culminate into Jacob. In my opinion, I feel like Jacob's with Royce in him anyway. We'll see. I could be wrong, but just my opinion. But Jacob interrupts the match like completely, like before the Intercontinental Women's Championship match even gets underway. He said he's not going to stand for this. He's going to dog walk all 3 of Royce Keys, Marco Nima, and Lucien Price. He throws the microphone down once he realizes that they have cut the microphone off. So now we're able to get to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match finally. But great opening segment. I like what they did there. Extending the storyline, being able to this is going to be something that's going to extend all the way to the fall and up into November. And there's a lot of twists and turns on who could end up joining Roman's group, or Jay and Jimmy. Will LA Knight and the Usos put their differences aside? There's just so many different ways that they can go with this, ultimately culminating as Survivor Series. So we'll see. So we'll get to the Intercontinental Championship match with Sol Ruca, and Raquel Rodriguez. We start off with a couple arm ringers from Raquel. Sol Ruca fights out of one. She begins climbing Raquel over the rope and knocks her to the floor. She does I don't know what it was, some sort of a moonsault over the top rope to all three ladies on the outside. Back inside the ring. Once they get back inside the ring, Raquel Rodriguez begins to pounce on Sol Ruca, hits her with some clubbing blows. She whips her to the corner. Sol Ruca's up and over the top of the corner, and then she hits a drop kick to the back and puts Raquel Rodriguez into the turnbuckles. It's a back splash off the ropes, but then she's caught by the crossbody. Sol Ruca slips out to the corner, up and over. She hits a springboard crossbody and takes Raquel off her feet, but no pinfall there. So then Raquel Rodriguez is hanging the ropes, and then she goes. Sol Ruca kicks her to the floor. Then Sol does the kickflip moonsault. Raquel dodges and nails her with the freight train crossbody, and we go to our first commercial break. There was no commercial tonight, or not many, because the show was taped tonight. Back from commercial, both ladies are trading elbows, charging off the rope, shoulder blocks from Sol Ruca, inverted surfboard stomp to the back, off the second with the missile drop kick. She is fired up. She hits a shot to the jaw, and she goes to a pinfall, but Raquel kicks out at two. And then she hits a big sunset flip to the floor, but Raquel hoses her back up on the apron and lays a big knee into Sol Ruca. Then a fireman's carry, Sol counters by rolling back into the ring, snapping her neck over the top rope. And then Sol Ruca gets a sunset flip powerbomb over the ropes and to the floor. So Sol Ruca was pulling out all stops. I mean, she even took out all of the members of Judgment Day in this match. And then Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan run down. Sol takes care of both of them with ease. She hits a corkscrew, a side moonsault off the top to take out Raquel, Roxanne, and Liv Morgan. Back inside, Liv Morgan up on the apron to run interference. So at that point, Sol Ruca is setting up to go. She goes to run to the far corner of the ring to set up for the Soul Snatcher, but Wwe Valkyria is there to stop her from getting the Soul Snatcher. She grabs her by her face and she pushes her into Raquel Rodriguez's arms, and Raquel Rodriguez hits Sol Ruca with the Tejana Bomb for the one. Well, it was actually with the one-arm power bomb, not the full Tejana Bomb. But Raquel Rodriguez hits Sol Ruca with the one-arm power bomb for the 1, 2, 3. So Raquel Rodriguez has defeated Sol Ruca to retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and the feud remains ongoing with Sol Ruca and Wwe Valkyria here. So it was okay. A lot of interference. Kind of expect that, but we'll see what they do moving forward with the Intercontinental Championship. I believe that, in my opinion, I think Lola Vice is going to be inserted into that pretty quick because she had a vignette tonight as well. She will be making her Raw debut on the 14th. So I could see Lola Vice being a heavy player for that Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw. So then we get a recap of the number one contender tournament semifinals from last week, where Penta and Rey Fenix both advanced to the championship match tonight, or the finals, tournament final tonight, to see who will go on to face Roman Reigns on September the 14th from Mexico City, in Mexico City for the World Heavyweight Championship. Penta and Rey Fenix are talking about their careers as brothers, also as a tag team, and also as rivals. We see the Lucha Brothers walking backstage separately. And then commentary Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore recaps Royce Keys and OTM beat the Usos up. They actually did this 3 or 4 different times tonight, which I was not very impressed with that. They definitely talked about that entirely too much, in my opinion. What's going on? I am at Luke Gotti. Good to see you. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, please, you guys have been killing it with the YouTube numbers. Just make sure if you guys are watching live on YouTube, you guys hit that like button. That does help me out. It helps my stream out. It helps the algorithm out and all that. So if you are watching live on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like button. So for the first time, and like I said, it was mentioned 3 or 4 times in the show about Royce Keys and OTM attacking the Usos. I believe Jimmy was bloodied up as well in that backstage altercation to open up Monday Night Raw. So Chad Gable is shown walking backstage, and we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Chad Gable, the men's Intercontinental Champion, makes his entrance and gets on the microphone. He said he loves the energy and thanks the crowd from the bottom of his heart. He says he thought he was going to finally feel like he made it when he won the Intercontinental Championship, but he doesn't feel that way. In fact, he recently realized that the real work actually starts now. Now he defines his legacy, how he wants to be remembered as a champion by all of us. Now he started carving that legacy 2 weeks ago against one of the greatest luchadors of all time in an epic battle against Rey Mysterio. And he'd be remiss if he didn't mention everything that the fans in Mexico did for him in his time in AAA. He can confidently stand here and say he wouldn't be the champion right now if it weren't for the Mexican people. Chad Gable got a pretty big ovation. That was something I was definitely worried about with Chad Gable moving forward, because in his last match against Ray, they were rooting against him. Well, not rooting against him, but it seemed like when Ray was getting close to winning the title that the fans were really starting to pick up. So, but Chad Gable did, other fans did a lot better job tonight getting behind Chad Gable. So Chad, still on the microphone, said he didn't want to find himself back down in Mexico until he had a way to repay them, and now he does, because Raw is returning to Mexico for the first time in 15 years on September 14th, and he's proud to say that he will be defending the Men's Intercontinental Championship in Mexico City on Raw. He said there's a long list of guys who deserve this opportunity, and he's going to bring. He talked about his match last week where Dragon Lee had a banger with Rey Fenix but fell a little bit short. He brings out Dragon Lee. That's who he wants his opponent to be in Mexico City for the Intercontinental title. Dragon Lee makes his entrance in his full gear, eye makeup and everything. They exchange welcome to each other and gestures of respect. Chad Gable says Adam Pearce has been gracious enough to let him decide who he defends the title against in Mexico City. But then out comes All Ego Ethan Page, which I talked about this also on Scoops. I do feel like when we get into a conversation about who's the biggest threat to take that title off of Chad Gable, it's definitely got to be Javon or Ethan Page. So Ethan gets on the microphone. He says he sees what's going on here week after week. Chad Gable giving another title match to a talentless, undeserving luchador. He knows Chad is still upset about how he treated those people, but it's no reason to be this way. And if he wants a real challenger, he should pick All Ego Ethan Page. Chad Gable says he's got a list, and Ethan is not on it. Right under Honky Tonk Man is what he said. Ethan Page says to laugh all you want. He's talking about legacy, and Honky Tonk Man is one of the longest reigning Intercontinental Champions of all time. If he wants a legacy, he needs to stop being a charity case and defend the title against real challengers. Dragon Lee steps in. Ethan tells him to shut up. Dragon Lee roars at him to get him in there and says he has a big mouth and talks too much, but says nothing. Ethan Page thinks he's better than him. He doesn't believe it, and the fans don't believe either. But if he really does think it, he better show him right here, right now. Ethan Page asks if he's sure what he wants, starts talking trash, but Chad shuts him up and says Dragon Lee versus Ethan Page sounds like a great match to happen right here and right now, but he's going to raise the stakes a little bit and make it a #1 contender match for the Intercontinental Championship, with the winner moving on to the September 14th Raw in Mexico City, where Roman will also defend against Penta. Whoever wins between Ethan Page and Dragon Lee will face Chad Gable for that Intercontinental Championship match. So those two shows, the Raw and SmackDown in Mexico, starting with the SmackDown September 11th and the Raw the 14th, are bangers, because the SmackDown in Mexico is going to have CM Punk faces. CM Punk is about to defend the World Championship 3 times in a matter of 4 weeks. He just faced KO. He's going to be facing Johnny Gargano this week. And then on the September 11th episode in Mexico, he's going to face Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. Chelsea Green is going to defend against Nia Jax. And Paige is going to go one-on-one with Nikki Bella. And then on the Raw side, we're going to have Roman Reigns versus Penta and Chad Gable versus the winner of Dragon Lee and Ethan Page. So the referee Daryl Sharma runs out to the ring. Ethan Page is in. Dragon Lee was already set to in his wrestling gear anyway. So this is the #1 contenders match. So the collar and elbow tie up. Ethan Page goes behind. Waistlock takedown. Dragon Lee fights out. It's arm drag, kick up, and then we go to a stalemate. Dragon Lee goes behind, side headlock. Ethan Page fights out, short body slam. Dragon Lee wades in with some body blows off the rope, and then he drops him to the mat. And some grounded punches from Ethan Page. Goes for the pin twice. The Dragon Lee kicks out. He whips across. Dragon Lee rolls under. Hits a big boot in the corner, a leg sweep, a slingshot kick, and a hesitation drop kick. And Ethan kicked out. Ethan goes to the floor. Dragon Lee off the ropes with a Tope Congiro. Dragon Lee poses on the barricade. Chad Gable watches from ringside. We go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Dragon Lee with the back elbow. Passing Ethan Page back to the floor. Ethan sidesteps a kick and trips Dragon Lee up with the ring skirt and sends him crashing to the floor before hitting a hanging, twisting backbreaker off the apron back inside. Still only getting a count of 2. So then he hits the cutthroat leg hook, side Russian leg sweep, and another near fall. So then the fisherman counters to a small package for 2. Dragon Lee punches away off the ropes. Ethan Page clobbers him with an elbow. And Dragon Lee then fires back with some kicks off the rope. He catches the lariat, floats over Ethan with the back body drop. He has a rebound German suplex from Dragon Lee, a super kick, a showtie, tornado DDT, and he still kicks out at 2. Fighting out on the apron. We get a vicious knee from Dragon Lee. Back inside. He hits the suicide to Harris, sends all ego flying into the announce desk. Back inside, Dragon Lee spreads, goes to the top rope. Then Ethan Page nails him with an elbow to counter. All ego throws him into Chad Gable at ringside, and then back inside to take a moment to taunt the champion on the outside of the ring. Chad Gable rushes to the apron. Ethan Page had taken off the top turnbuckle to expose it, but Chad Gable was quick to point that out to the referee. Like I said, Page uses a distraction to take a turnbuckle pad off. Dragon Lee charges, but Ethan Page sidesteps, and Dragon Lee goes chest first into the steel. So then, as I said, Chad Gable gets up onto the top, onto the ring post, or to the top of the mat, or not the mat, but the apron, to let the referee know that Ethan Page had taken the top of the turnbuckle pad off, so to let him know it's cheating. Obviously, the referee goes to attend to that. He goes down, but Chad Gable catches his attention. He sees the exposed turnbuckle and waves the cover off, and Dragon Lee capitalizes, and hits the Operation Dragon on Ethan Page for the 1, 2, 3. So Dragon Lee is the new #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship and will face Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship on September 14th live in Mexico. So he is the new #1 contender. So then we get a recap of the night. So Sikoa refused to rejoin the Bloodline and formalize his alliance with LA Knight. Basically, they were just showing that the night that Roman had told Solo Sikoa that he needed to take care of LA Knight, and then Solo Sikoa turns his back on Roman Reigns and hit him with the Samoan Spike. So then we get the black SUV that Roman always pulls up in on Monday Night Raw. Drives up in a loading dock. Roman, the WWE Raw Heavyweight Champion, the OTC. Roman Reigns gets out. Big, huge pop from the crowd in Cleveland. And then he runs into the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. And Roman asks Jacob Fatu, where are the twins? So Jacob then tells Roman that it's not good news for the twins, that Royce Keys and OTM had taken the twins out. Roman had that expression he always has on his face. Jacob says it's not looking good for the twins, and Royce Keys is on a whole other level, and he hasn't seen since he was younger. And he tells Roman if he thought I was a problem, he said Royce is going to be a big problem. And then Roman Reigns looks at Jacob Fatu, and he tells Jacob, he said, Royce Keith is your problem. You take care of him, and I will take care of the rest. And Roman Reigns makes his long entrance to the ring as always. He is the top star in the company and the biggest aura farmer in WWE. And they had to go to commercial because his entrance takes a long time. But the fans love him. Can't really hate because he's bringing the money to TKO. He's also putting asses in seats and all that. And people show up to Raw just because they know he's on the card. But he is definitely a big-time aura farmer. But he begins making his way out to the ring. He gets on the microphone. As always, he says, Cleveland, Ohio, acknowledge me. And Cleveland, Ohio crowd absolutely goes crazy. He says on the microphone, he says, being the only true champion, and I am the only champion that matters. He said, truthfully, he said he should be out here talking about what matters, and that is Ray Phoenix and his brother Penta, who will go one-on-one in the main event because they have actually earned a shot. One of those will have earned a shot at Roman's title. He said he's showing them respect because that's what they're doing by earning their shot, unlike everyone else around here who just bitches and moans for a shot at the title. Kind of true. He said, but they're not doing that anymore, and they're not dealing with the disrespect anymore. So Roman said people are not going to be getting title shots just from bitching and moaning, basically what he said. Which he said brings us to Solo Sikoa. He said he gave Solo the opportunity to give him what he earned, to acknowledge him and serve his family and his legacy. What did he do? Blow that opportunity for LA Knight. He said he gets it. He reminds you of The Rock. So we got another Rock mention. We've gotten several over the last week or so. He's coming. But Roman said, but he's not their family. But since we brought him up, let's talk about him. Let's talk about Mr. And then out comes the megastar himself, LA Knight. LA Knight comes out. LA Knight gets on the microphone. He says he's got so much going on that after what happened last week, he should be out here talking about Royce Keys and his goons and what they did to him and Solo Sikoa. But instead, he's got Roman Reigns recycling material from 3 years ago. He thought he was a big deal around here, the world champion, the tribal chief. Yet, my man, you want to talk about doing things the wrong way. Roman, he said, Roman, you are doing the wrong thing. He said, I've been calling you out for months, and you keep putting your family first and making these tournaments that I can't enter. He said, what does OT stand for? OTC stand for one tremendous coward. So what's on my jacket here? LA Knight says the OTC stands for one tremendous coward. He said, if you're scared, just say you're scared. He understands why you'd be scared. Last time they were in the ring, he said, I dropped you on your big bulbous head so bad he didn't even show up. He said, you got to understand the magnitude of LA Knight. Once you whip the horse, you got to take the ride, and the ride starts right now. As LA Knight begins to get in the ring, you can see on the Jumbotron backstage, there's a scuffle on the Jumbotron, and Solo Sikoa is down on the concrete, bleeding in a loading dock. So Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa have been taken out, and all three of them were busted open. LA Knight immediately leaves the ring and rushes to the back to check on Solo Sikoa, being tended to by medics, referees, road agents, and guess who else is standing there? Jacob Fatu. So again, why was Jay? Why was Jimmy? And now why was Solo Sikoa taken out? But Jacob Fatu does not have a scratch on him. Because he's with Royce and them. That's why. Be thinking, I mean, like I said, I could be wrong, but why would they be attacking everybody else but Jacob? I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, guys. Jacob Fatu has to be the leader of 964 and 946. They all grew up, him and Royce grew up together 20 years, so it makes perfect sense. LA Knight then gets into an argument with Jacob, who swears he didn't have anything to do with this, which I think he actually did. Roman Reigns then blindsides LA Knight with a Superman punch from behind. Roman Reigns then tells Jacob Fatu to handle Royce Keys, and he said, I have everything else under control. Some more storyline development from the beginning of the show where Royce Keys and OTM just completely manhandled and pummeled the Usos, and now they've also taken out LA Knight. But I will reiterate this one more time. Jacob Fatu, even though he did the promo, that doesn't matter. That could just be to throw people off. But Jacob Fatu was not touched. No punches, didn't get busted open, none of that stuff. So what does that tell you? You guys put it 2 and 2 together. Shout out to, we finally hit the century mark, over 102 people here. I'm watching live. It's only 11:20 on the East Coast, so it's still a little early. But we get back from commercial, and we get another good vignette. Definitely a lot different from what they did with Blake Monroe. Me and Kyle talk about this a lot on Queens of WWE on Wednesdays, and I talk about it on SmackDown Recap. You know, Blake Monroe has been in the company for over 3 months, and they had her doing a couple things backstage. But a lot of the time she was doing a vignette, talking about Rhea, talking about Charlotte, talking about Tiffany, talking about Alexa, talking about people like that. These vignettes for Lola are perfect because she's going to show up on the 14th. Perfect place to show up is in Mexico. And I believe, and I'm praying, and I'm hoping creatively that they're going to have something good for her to do, and what I believe would be to insert her into that Intercontinental Championship picture when she shows up on Raw. What's going on, Tyler? Good to see you. Lola's gonna shake that on Raw. Yeah, that was definitely a good vignette for Lola's life. Once again, if you are watching live on YouTube, hit that like button on the stream. You guys have absolutely been killing it on YouTube. Over 100 views on the last 3 shows. Don't know if we'll get there tonight. We'll see. We're at 111 watching either live on YouTube, on X, on my X page, or on DW Television X. So we'll get back from the commercial. We'll get to Lola Vice vignette where she will be showing up September 14th on the Raw from Mexico. Let me get a hell yeah for the women on Raw. Roxanne Thomas coming. It is. I do believe Roxanne is going to win the women's Money in the Bank. So then we get to Judgment Day, consisting of Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough make their entrance ahead of our next match, followed shortly thereafter by the young OG, Javon Evans. It's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Javon Evans. Dominic Mysterio blindsides Javon before the bell, beating him down on the floor, throwing him inside. Referee Danilo Amphibio backs Dominic off, checks on Javon and calls for the bell. Javon Evans is in with a kick, and then he hits another drop kick right on the button. And then the young OG fired up. He takes the shirt off. He hits a big leaping elbow in the corner off the ropes. But then JD McDonough trips him up, and Rey Mysterio blindsides him and begins to put the boots to Javon Evans. Dominic then gets almost a near fall. It's a big uppercut and whips across Javon, low bridges him off the ropes. It's a suicide dive and he connects, and then we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Dominic Mysterio hits a kick, goes for the pin for 2, choking him in the ropes. He distracts the referee so that JD can get a cheap shot in that lets Dominic get a lateral press for another 2 count on Javon Evans. Some more kicks, but then Javon fires back with some punches, backing Dominic into the corner, stomping a mud hole in him. Then he ducks a lariat to Javon with a hard right, a spin kick out to the apron, calling for it, and then he hits the springboard crossbody. Dominic Mysterio runs away. Javon follows and lays JD McDonough out and throws Dominic over the timekeeper's barricade around the ring in a full head of steam. But then JD McDonough cuts him off with the lariat, and the referee calls for the bell. Javon Evans wins by disqualification. After the match, Judgment Day still begin to pour the onslaught with JD McDonough and Dominic putting the boots to Javon Evans. But then out comes Joe Henry. Somebody said his name, and he appeared. Joe Henry comes out to make the save. He cleans house and throws Judgment Day to the floor for helping Javon up. Adam Pearce storms out. He said, "I've had enough of this tonight. I've had enough of you guys, the Judgment Day, with this interference stuff." He's furious. He said he's not letting it happen this way. He said now it's a tag team match, and he tells the referee to ring the damn bell. So we're going to get another impromptu match. Javon Evans and Joe Henry versus the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough. So they start the brawl on the floor, and we go to commercial break. Back from commercial, Joe Henry with a delayed vertical suplex on JD McDonough, turning him around and around and marching him around the ring before finally dropping him and getting a count of 2. He tagged in Javon Evans, who hits a suplex to JD McDonough, who then rolls to the floor. Javon then chases JD to the floor, and then JD gets right back into the ring and tags in Dominic Mysterio. Javon Evans rolls back in, didn't realize the tag happened, and Dominic blindsides him and begins to put the boots to Javon in the ropes. Drawing Javon up, he hits a straight suplex, goes for the pinfall, but only gets a count of 2. So he gets quick tags, working Javon Evans over until he hits a corkscrew moonsault. Tags are made. Joe Henry is in. He's lighting him up with lariats, follow away slam. and one fallaway slam on both men. Judgment Day to the floor. Joe Henry with a trust fall senton dive. Then back inside the ring, he puts a drop toe hold, puts him on the second rope. Dominic off the rope. So he puts Dominic on the second rope. Sorry. Joe Henry then blocks with the discus lariat. Javon Evans then pulls JD McDonough off the apron before he can run interference, but he puts Javon into the ring post. JD then lands a big headbutt on Joe Henry, and then Dominic Mysterio off the top rope for the frog splash on Joe Henry for the 1, 2, 3. So the winners of the match is Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough, as Dominic Mysterio pins Joe Henry with the frog splash off the top rope. How long till Dominic leaves that loser JD? Why not release him? WWE's really high on JD. I don't know why, but they have him lose a lot of matches. But Dominic and JD get the pinfall victory over Joe Henry and Javon Evans. If I'm concerned about anybody, it's what they're doing with Joe Henry. I just feel like that. I don't know. I don't think it looks good for Joe. So we go backstage. Kathy Kelly with Becky Lynch. She says she would. Kathy Kelly asked Becky Lynch why she helped Stephanie Vacour. She says she wouldn't say she helped Stephanie. La Primera herself, who has a women's championship match next Monday on Raw, where she will face Liv Morgan for the women's championship, and will be Liv Morgan's second title defense. Tyler says that Joe Henry is Elias 2.0. I would agree with that. Sing and eat pins loser. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't leave him down at NXT. So next week, Stephanie Vacour will face Liv Morgan. This will be her second title defense. Second title defense in 135 plus days. She beat Io Sky after 100 plus days at SummerSlam, and now she will be facing Stephanie Vacour, which was the original plan coming out of WrestleMania, and they're finally circling back to it. So Becky says that she wouldn't say she helped Stephanie. Stephanie rolls up and asks Becky why she helped her. Becky Lynch says she took an opportunity to beat the crap out of Judgment Day, but if she were going to help someone, she might appreciate somebody who fights off 3 people at once, and she might prefer to take the title off of Stephanie Vacour rather than Liv Morgan. Stephanie Vacour thanks her. Becky Lynch says she owes her one. Stephanie just says, I don't owe you anything. She disagrees. Becky says she owes her respect, at least, and also a title match if she wins the title next week on Raw. Stephanie Vacour says Becky Lynch is showing, she said, at first I was starting to respect you, but now you are showing your true colors and showing who you really are. And she tells Becky, you do not deserve the title, that the title deserves Stephanie Vacour. And she walks away. So next week on Raw, Liv Morgan will have her second title defense in 130 plus days, where she will defend the Women's Raw Championship against Stephanie Vacour, which I do believe is going to end in some sort of shenanigans. I don't think we're going to get a clean winner, which ultimately is probably going to set up that triple threat for Money in the Bank. Just my opinion. So then we see Rey Fenix taping his wrist and Rey Mysterio rolling up to shake his hand. We touch mask. We get a break. Back from the commercial, we get a video package for who is the future of WWE, which that is leading up to which probably should. I don't know if it will. Main event, Sunday night main event, Obafemi versus Brian Breaker coming up this Sunday from Atlanta, Georgia at 8 p.m. Eastern on Peacock for Sunday night main event for the future of who is the future of WWE. So backstage, Paul Heyman. So I believe it's Kathy Kelly again. She asked Paul Heyman for a prediction or a spoiler between Oba and Braun Breaker. He said he doesn't want to give a prediction, but he said if you want to hype up the match, one man must win, and neither man can afford to lose or take a loss. He said for the winner, his momentum continues, but what happens to the loser's mindset and the public perception of him. He said we're also on the way to the Royal Rumble and also to WrestleMania, and this is the worst time to lose a match like this. He said, even though the crowd that I run around with, he said, I respect Femi, and he said, how could I not? He said, I saw what he did to Brock Lesnar up close. He said, and he loves and respects Braun Breaker as the hardest hitting athlete in WWE. He said he's in the gym 3 hours longer than anybody else. And he said everybody else shows up to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Braun is there at 5 a.m. in the morning. He also says that Braun Breaker is going to bring the fight to Femi like nothing or nobody Femi has ever seen before. He said he knows what's on the line here, and he tells Kathy Kelly that your guess is as good as his, and we will all find out on Sunday at Sunday night's main event when Braun Breaker goes one-on-one with Femi. So then the commentary hypes up the card for Sunday night's main event, where we will see Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, Femi versus Braun Breaker, Charlotte Flair, Tatum Paxley, and Alexa Bliss take on Jade Cargill, Michin at P5, and Baron Corbin, the United States Champion, goes one-on-one with Lil Yachty. If Lil Yachty lasts longer than 5 minutes, and Trick Williams will get another United States Championship match, but if he doesn't last longer than 5 minutes, then Trick Williams will not get another shot at the U.S. title. So then we go back to the Judgment Day Clubhouse. They're all hugging, congratulating each other. First time we've seen them do this in quite a while on WWE television. Liv Morgan congratulates Raquel on her win. When the boys roll up, they all congratulate them. Dominic says Javon Evans isn't going to be a problem anymore for the Judgment Day. And then JD McDonough says he took care of that loser or whatever he called Joe Henry. Then Morgan says Judgment Day still runs Raw, and she said I can't believe that Stephanie Vacour even begins to think that she's going to beat me next week for my Raw Women's Championship. And laughs at the idea. Roxanne Perez then chimes in, and she said, I tell you what, if Becky Lynch tries to interfere, I will be there to stop her. And Liv puts her hand on Roxanne's face and said, thank you, my sweet little Roxy. So they are still brewing up something with Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Liv Morgan says it doesn't matter if she tries because she's going to beat her again, and she's going to beat Stephanie Vacour and prove that she is the greatest women's world champion of all time. So then we get a serious voice recap of Royce Keys and OTM attacking the Usos at the top of the show. Again, as I said, they did this 3 or 4 times throughout the broadcast. Commentary informs us that the Usos are being evaluated at a local medical facility for multiple injuries. So maybe this is a way to write the Usos off of TV for a little while. So we're going to go to the main event of the evening. Perfect time. We're an hour and 10 minutes in on the Raw recap. Make sure if you are watching live here on YouTube, you hit that like button. Let's try to get the numbers up, try to get the views up on Raw as we have on the past 3 streams. Thank you guys for tuning in. So Penta makes his way out for the main event. It is the finals of the tournament. The winner moving on to the September 14th Raw in Mexico City with the winner facing Roman Reigns for the Raw Heavyweight Championship. And then he is followed to the ring by his brother, the other half of the Lucha Brothers, Rey Fenix. So we're getting Penta versus Rey Fenix in the WWE Men's World Championship #1 contender tournament finals. This was an absolute banger. So circling forehead to forehead, handshake, collar and elbow tie, Penta breaks. They trade overhand chops, and there's a rolling headbutt for 0. Ray Phoenix rolls him through for a sunset flip. Very fast paced, ducking and dodging, trading near falls. Ray Phoenix goes for it to hard, knuckle lock, steps up and lets go with the dive into Harris. And he hits a waist lock and a standing switch. And then Ray Phoenix goes into a handspring. Penta kicks his leg out from under him and sends him to the floor. So then they go back inside. We got a commercial break. Back from commercial. Penta kicks his leg out from under him and he goes for a pin, but only gets a count of 2. Then he gets a big overhand chop and a kick combo from Ray Phoenix. He hits an Integer in the corner. Ray Phoenix up top. Goes for the goodbye amigo, but Ray Phoenix is out to the apron. And then he hits a springboard tornado, connects, and then he throws him back into the ring, and he's clapping to get the crowd into it. He hits a rolling thunder, countered with a super kick. And then we see a handspring ace crusher and a cover for 2. And we get a chest kick, drawing Penta up. Fireman's carry, he fights out off the rope. A crescent kick, and then a springboard X-Factor whipper cross. And he ducks a lariat into a rebound kick from Ray Phoenix. And he gets a super kick from Penta. And Penta applies a crescent kick. Or he ducks a crescent kick from Ray Phoenix. And then Ray Phoenix hits him with a clothesline. Both men are now down and out. Ray then goes for the pinfall, but he only gets a count of 2. Charging in, he hits a back body drop to an inverted super kick from Penta, and Ray Phoenix crashes to the floor. Penta fired up around the way, throwing Ray back inside, and it's a hamstring kick. Ray Phoenix fires back with chops off the rope, lays him out with a kick, and gets a cover for 2. Penta then goes for another near fall, and that sends us to a commercial break. Back for commercial, Ray Phoenix with the waist lock, back elbows, getting clubbing blows, up and over, lays Ray Phoenix out and covers, but still only a count of 2. Then he hits a triangle flip pile driver on the apron, then it's a counter kick from Ray Phoenix, a double jump moonsault from the outside, in, but Penta kicked out at 2.75. And it's a palm strike, drawing Penta off the ropes, and then he hits a power bomb, but Ray Phoenix won't stay down. And the look on Penta's face when he goes for the Mexican power bomb destroyer off the top rope, and then Ray Phoenix is completely flipped all the way over and landed on his feet. Penta looked like he saw a ghost. Penta up top and calling for it. Ray cuts him off with an uppercut, climbs up with him, jockeying for position. Ray Phoenix lands on his feet to counter the avalanche flip. Pile driver. Again, Penta was absolutely shocked. Then he gets a running kick from Ray. Up for the Mexican Muscle Buster, his finisher. But Penta fights out. He hits a pump handle. And then Ray Phoenix kicks out of the Penta driver. So Penta hits the Penta driver, his finisher. So many different, won the Intercontinental Championship with that move, and has defeated so many people with that move, but Ray Phoenix kicked out at 2 7/8. So then we got to 4. Then Penta clears the announce desk. Ray Phoenix cuts him off with the show tie, comes up with him, slashes his throat. Penta counters. Then he hits the Penta driver through the damn announce desk on the outside. That was absolutely crazy. Penta pulling out all stops on his brother to be able to qualify and have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to face Roman Reigns for that World Heavyweight Championship in Mexico City on September 14th. Back inside, we get a one-handed cover, but no pinfall. Ray Phoenix is back in control, punches his shoulder, trapping the arm. Ray Phoenix is screaming agony. Penta puts him into the arm submission. Ray Phoenix is screaming in agony, clutching his arm. Penta stares. Ray Phoenix tells him to kill him, but he counters the flip pile driver with the Hurricane Rana. that almost does it. And then he hits the flip pile driver, and he connects on the second try. And then Penta hits the Penta driver for the second time for the 1, 2, 3. So Penta has won the tournament and has defeated his brother, Ray Phoenix. The Lucha Brothers put on one hell of a banger tonight, and Ray Phoenix has advanced to the Raw on September 14th in Mexico City, where he will challenge the OTC Roman Reigns for the Raw Heavyweight Championship. So congratulations to Penta on getting this big opportunity after having, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, title reigns in all of WWE in the last year. Because he defended that Intercontinental Championship at least somewhere between 9 and 11 times. So definitely well deserved and well earned for Penta. Now, does Penta have a chance to beat Roman Reigns? Absolutely not. But it is a good way for Penta to get elevated and to be able to get that World Championship match. But nobody in their right mind thinks that Penta is going to beat Roman Reigns. After the match, Penta grabs his brother and pulls him in close before helping him up and raising his arm. We get a recap of the match. Cut back to Penta celebrating, and out comes the Raw Heavyweight Champion for the second time of the night, Roman Reigns. He goes to the ring and squares up with Penta before holding the world title up high. Penta throws up a Sierra Miedo sign, and Roman Reigns returns his hand gesture by putting the one to the sky. And that is the show, guys. So, like I said, the wrestling on the show tonight was not bad. And I do kind of like where they're going with the storyline. They just don't need to put Jay and Jimmy back on TV next week, or I will be completely checked out. Because when Royce was attacked, he was off TV for quite a few weeks. So that's what they need to do with Jay and Jimmy, and also Solo as well, because that's going to give them time to build this storyline, because we're just going into September, and so it'll be one of my birthdays coming up this month. In 8 minutes, it'll be September the 1st on the East Coast. So they still got 2 months to build this war game. So I like what they did there. Didn't really care that much for the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. They got to really do something. They need to bring some women over. Got to get something fresh going on. The Lyra Valkyria stuff just not really hitting for me, honestly. There needed to be some change. Something's got to give there. Maybe if Bayley's going to resign, bring her back, which I believe she will. I believe we will see Bayley back on WWE television soon. When Lola Vice shows up on the 14th, put her into the Intercontinental Championship picture. I like what they're doing with Liv and Stephanie and Becky, but we know we're not getting a title change. I don't think we will. Ultimately, I think this is going to culminate in a triple threat with Liv, Becky, and Stephanie at Money in the Bank. But I still somewhat feel like this feud, it's been more promos with Stephanie and Becky than anything. And Liv is the Raw Women's Champion. But this feud has been centered around Becky Lynch and Stephanie, and a little bit to do with Liv, but mainly to do with them two. So for me, Liv Morgan feels like the third wheel, and as quickly as possible, they need to take the title off of Liv. 2 title defenses in 150 days is not going to cut it. I love Liv. I think her character is great, but it's time for a change. And I think that change is putting that title on the man, Becky Lynch. So next week on Raw, we will see Liv Morgan in her second title defense in 135 days. She will defend the title against the person she beat the title. She won the title from at WrestleMania, Stephanie Blackcourt. And then the men's and the women's Money in the Bank qualifiers start. Super excited for that because that is in New Orleans. I will be there. We can't wait to see who will qualify for to be in the men's and the women's Money in the Bank matches. Couple quick announcements again. This Sunday, I do apologize for everybody that's coming on for the Sunday night main event prediction show. It's only a 4-match card. I'll quickly run through that. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Obafemi versus Braun Breaker. Little Yachty versus Baron Corbin. Little Yachty lasts longer than 5 minutes. Trick Williams gets the United States Championship match. And Charlotte Flair, Tatum Paxley, and Alexa Bliss versus Jay Cargill, Meechin, and B5. I'm really hoping that WWE finds a way to get a 5th match out. I've seen the SmackDown spoilers. There wasn't anything on the rundown or the card that I saw for another match being added, but I do believe we possibly get Blake Monroe and Julia at Sunday Night's Main Event, because there's only one women's match on the card. So that's what I think is going to happen, because Paige and Nikki are going to wrestle not this coming up Friday, but next in Mexico. So I don't think it's going to be that. I think we're going to get Blake and Julia if we get another match at Sunday Night's Main Event. So this has been your Raw Recap live here on the EVP Show. Shout out to the 132 people. Once again, thank you guys for the last 3 days. Over 100 views on every single show on YouTube. I have no idea what the numbers look like tonight. This is about what we looked like last night. A little less than normal. But you guys just still showed up and showed out for a tape show. It seems like the tape shows are doing better than the actual live shows. 2 more announcements. On Sunday, September 13th, it is my birthday. That is the next Sunday Night Scoop show. 2 people. I need some hard liquor. No, man, I'm good, bro. I don't drink. Sunday, September 13th is my birthday. That is the next Sunday Night Scoop. So, on the last Scoop show, we got 17 likes. So, I will be giving away two separate people 1 month membership to the Discord news channel. I'll be giving away news, answering questions. Everybody's welcome to come in. It's going to be a birthday celebration for myself on the Sunday Scoop show. I don't care if we go 3 hours. I want to get all of my friends from the YouTube community and also the Twitter community in. After I get done with all the news and stuff, we can just kind of cut up to the comments. People want to come up onto the stage with me and talk. They're more than welcome to. So it's going to be more of a birthday celebration. And then the last announcement, I kind of made the decision over the last 2 days. I put a couple of polls out. What was the next step for me after Big Brother ends on October 1st? So what I'm going to do is Survivor will be starting. Survivor Season 51 will be starting September 23rd. That is a season premiere, 2 hours. So I will do the week 1 recap of Survivor on September 23rd, right after, or maybe 30 minutes after me and Kyle get done with Queens of WWE. And then once Big Brother is over on October 1st, then the Survivor 51 recap show will take the Big Brother spot on Thursdays, probably at the same time. So Survivor 51, I've already got 1 thumbnail made for that. So that is in the works. That will be the show that will be taking Big Brother's spot once Big Brother is over, which we still got 4 and a half, a little over 4 weeks left of Big Brother. So thank you again to everybody tuned in to the Raw Recap live here on the EVP Show, Sunday, August 31st, 2026. Shout out to Tribal Kingpin. I'm sure we've seen a lot of you in the fantasy football draft. Shout out to I Am Lou Gotti and also to Tyler as well on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the stream. If you are, we are streaming live on my YouTube channel, on my X page and DWE Television X page. Make sure you follow the DWE Television X page and also DWE Family Media page, also on X. Everyone affiliated with DWE Television, starting off with the CEO himself, Miami the Great. You can catch him tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern for Inside the NFL Mind with Miami. You can watch that or listen to that on DWE Television. On Talk It Up Podcast, make sure you hit that subscription button on Talk It Up Podcast. Also on Twitch at DWE TV and DWE Television, 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every Saturday, you can catch Miami the Great and Final Boss Baby, which she's actually live as well now on her Twitter page. Follow her on X at Final Boss Baby with 2 B's. She is the CFO and HR of DWE. Catch them every Saturday. This coming up Saturday, they will be doing another show of DWE Radio. I believe it's number 31. I believe. You can listen to that on DWE Television on X, Talk It Up Podcast, also on Twitch, DWE TV, and DWE Television, and also on Spotify. So they have over 27 or 28 episodes uploaded to Spotify, so make sure you check them out Saturday. Earlier tonight before Raw, we had the World of Greg, Kyle and Anthony, who were live an hour before Raw. They did really well with views. Saw a lot of people retweeting it and stuff. But you can catch them every single Monday, an hour before Raw, as they will be going down and covering the whole entire card, getting you ready for Monday Night Raw. It's always an hour before Monday Night Raw, so make sure you follow the World of Greg. Speaking of Kyle and Anthony, you catch him on Mondays on the Rundown with the World of Greg, and on Wednesdays he is the host every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I am the co-host for Kyle and Anthony. Make sure you follow him on X and Instagram. You can catch us live this coming up Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Queens of WWE episode number 12. Already 12 episodes in. Great content as we cover. We will be talking about the women's stuff from SmackDown, Raw, and NXT Heatwave, and whatever happens tomorrow on NXT as well. So make sure you follow him. Also, a new show coming to DWE starting Thursday, I believe, at 2 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's called Bold and Beyond with Kyle the Man Anthony and Director Red. So make sure if you guys are fans of Beyond the Gates and Bold and the Beautiful, the soap opera, make sure you guys tune into that. Make sure you follow Director Reg on X as well, as he will be having his first show with Kyle and Anthony, which will be called Bold and Beyond every Thursday at 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern. I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern. Also, After Slam Podcast on X, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Slow Session Podcast and the Sports Jedi Network. Everyone affiliated with Gimmick Table Media. I will be back shortly to tell you guys where you can find me on my social media platform and what I have coming up for you guys the rest of this week.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to the Raw Recap Show live here on the EVP Show channel on YouTube, my X page at DWE Television X page. Shout out to 134 people that has tuned in live for the Raw Recap on Monday, August 31st, 2026. As far as where you can find me on my social media platforms, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. All my links are in my bio. You can find me on X at EVPCJP. You scroll all the way up to my X page at the top. You can find my YouTube page, or my YouTube that's pinned at the top. If you are subscribed, retweet it, send it in the group chats that you're in on Twitter, send it to your friends and family, as we are on the road to 400 subscribers, where there will be another giveaway. There was a lucky winner when we hit the 300 subscribers. Last time I checked, we were at 327 and we dipped down to 326, but we're 74 subscribers away from hitting that goal of 400. So make sure you guys share it. Try to help me get to 400 subscribers for Survivor Series. On Instagram, it is a business account, but you can find my YouTube pin. It's in my bio. You can catch all of my upcoming videos from my upcoming stream that made by Miami the Great. If you follow me on Instagram, you can already see that my NXT recap videos are already up and posted for the NXT recap show tomorrow. I always post the videos a day early. Tomorrow I will be posting the WWE Sunday night's main event prediction show videos on Instagram. So Make sure you follow me on Instagram for that and to catch out all my videos. On TikTok, same thing, business account, but my YouTube is in my bio. You can follow me on TikTok at Brady the Goat 21. That's at BRADYDA Goat 21. And once again, just like Instagram, my YouTube is in my bio. And you can see all my upcoming videos from my upcoming stream. Last but not least, most importantly, as I just mentioned before, we are on the road to 400 subscribers. So that's helped me get there before Survivor Series. Last I looked, we were at 326, so that means we're only 74 away. We got over 82 subscribers in 2 weeks last time, so I know that we can get to 400 by Survivor Series. If you cannot find my YouTube channel on any of my social media platforms, go to that search bar and type in at the EVP Show, where I have over 1,000 live videos, over 500 YouTube shorts, and a couple of pre-recorded videos. So yeah, it's a lot of content on there for you guys to go back and watch if you're new to the channel and you want to check out the content. If you are subscribed, turn the notification bell on and you will be reminded when I go live for my daily wrestling content. So what I have coming up next for you guys, tomorrow, I will be back at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. What is the fallout from all the big title changes that happened yesterday at NXT Heatwave? Join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night for your NXT recap show. Wednesday night, I'm back for a doubleheader. First off, I'll be joined with 9 other people at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Turn the notification bell on and come and join all 10 of us as we predict this huge Sunday night's main event prediction card. 4 matches on the card, but we will still be doing a prediction show. Join me and 9 others at 6 p.m. Eastern Wednesday for the Sunday night main event prediction show. Later on, right after that, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, join me and Kyla Man Anthony for Queens of WWE, episode number 12 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I mentioned earlier, you can catch Kyla Man Anthony and Director Reg Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Old and Beyond, the season premiere of that. And then later on Thursday evening, tune in to Inside the NFL Mind with Miami at 6 p.m. Eastern on DW Television and Talk It Up podcast on YouTube and on Twitch, DW TV and DW Television. Later on that night for the nightcap, the last show of Thursday night, we're back to reality television. Come join me, as this has been a crazy week of Big Brother with the twist. Somebody has already went home Monday, so we will talk about that. And we'll also be talking about who gets evicted Thursday night. Join me at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Big Brother Season 28 Week 8 recap show. And then Friday night is the go-home show before Sunday night's main event. Join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the SmackDown recap show. And then Saturday, I'm off. But then Sunday, come back and join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Sunday night's main event recap show. That being said, that is my schedule for the rest of the week. I am the EVP from the EVP Show, and the Golden Boy of DWE, and DWE is the only place to be. You guys enjoy your Tuesday and come back and join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night for the NXT recap show. Good night, everyone.